Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again, and I am here today to review one of the last full moon movies for 2025. What happened was, what's really funny is that usually when we need to do like a movie review or any type of review, I watch whatever we need to watch first, and then I end up having to wait for Safi for like a week or a couple of days or even just a day. And so I really get irritated because like I like to talk about movies like when they're fresh in my mind. I don't like to watch a movie and then like, oh, a month later, like, oh, that movie was really good, because I want to try to remember as many details as possible, and so that I can make it a really well-rounded review. And but what ended up happening was I told Safi that what we should do is, since the Halloween season is over, what we should do is we should just binge watch the last 3 full moon movies and then rank them, because at the very end we rank all 10 of them. But then I just wasn't in the mood. I gotta be honest. Sometimes I'm not really in the mood to watch what we're watching, and then I'll have other stuff to do anyway, and so it's just kind of like, well, whatever. Like I'm not on like an official schedule or anything, so it doesn't really matter. And so Safi watched this movie, Dark Angel: The Ascent. She watched this movie like a couple of weeks ago, or maybe just like a little over a week ago, and this is also Safi's second to last choice. This was a movie that she picked out, and I gotta be honest, like the cover, I despise the cover because it looks generic. It doesn't really tell me what the movie's going to be about at all. Like, I guess the idea is that, you have this character and she's overseeing New York, and she's going to, go around New York, like, judging people and shit. But, like, from the cover, I don't like the outfit that she's in. I mean, it looks sexy, but it just doesn't really fit with the movie. I do like the gargoyle. She's sitting on a gargoyle. I think the idea of that is cool, but again, it doesn't really tell me about the movie. And then the worst part is her face, because it looks so badly photoshopped. It does not look good, and yeah. So I was really not excited about this movie. I think the title is bad too. I think the movie should have just been called The Dark Angel or Dark Angel or something like that, because the title seems like a generic, generated title. Like, this could have been a title like if you asked ChatGPT, like, hey, can you make me like a cool horror movie title? And then it'll be like, sure, here are 5 movie titles. Number 1, The Dark Room. Number 2, Dark Angel. Number 3, Dark Angel: The Ascent. Number 4, The Dark Playground. Number 5, The School of Hell. Like, they just come up with these really generic titles, and this is a generic title. And it seemed like everything about this movie was pointing towards it being a bad movie, and pointing it towards it not being very good. Like, because also on IMDb it only has like a 5 out of 10. On Letterboxd it only has a 3 out of 5. And everything was going against this movie. There's no one that I really know in the movie. Like, I don't know any of these actors, so there's no automatic emotional connection to any of them. And surprise, surprise, this movie is fantastic. The best way that I could describe this movie is this is Full Moon's version of Prom Night 2. If you guys don't remember, Prom Night 2, we reviewed last year. And that movie was like a cult classic. It was like a movie that, it came out and it's like, Prom Night 2, like who wants to see that? And then, sorry guys, I did not expect someone to print something in the middle of this review, so, sorry about that. Anyways, Prom Night 2 was a movie that no one really expected to be any good, but over time, everyone seems to love that movie and agree that it's a really fun, really good horror movie, and this movie feels like it should be Prom Night 2 status. It hits almost all the same marks that Prom Night 2 hits, but I gotta say, I think that this is better than Prom Night 2. I think that this might be one of the best, 90s, 80s horror movies that I've ever seen. The story is like Wonder Woman. It's a fish out of water story. It's like Wonder Woman, except it's a lot better than Wonder Woman, too. I mean, that movie, I gotta be honest, guys, that was a really overrated movie. And, this is like, what if Wonder Woman was good? This movie, it was really, really good. It was really fun. It was kind of funny a little bit at some points. I thought that it was really well shot. I mean, for a Full Moon movie, the way that this was shot, I was telling Safi yesterday, with a lot of indie movies, and a lot of Full Moon movies in particular, it doesn't really seem like there's an artistic vision behind the shots. It doesn't really seem like when they're the way that they shoot those movies that it actually looks like a real movie with a real vision. And this movie, though, it is so much different because it's actually shot like a real movie. And the lighting is really good, too. Just everything about this movie, technically and otherwise, is actually really, really good. There's only a couple of things about the movie that I don't like, and those are mainly just a couple of story nitpicks. And also, my big criticism is that this never got a sequel. I mean, I would say that is a travesty and a shame. So this movie, as I said, it's like a Wonder Woman story. It's all about this, I guess she's a demon, and her name is Veronica. Yeah, her name is Veronica. She has a really long name in the movie, and she is not getting along with her family and her father, and she decides to ascend, which means I guess she could just go to Earth. That's not really very well explained, but it's just kind of like, who cares? This is a horror movie. We're having fun here, and so she comes to Earth, and it's basically her, adapting to Earth and finding out about, what it's like living in New York. And she falls in love with the doctor. He's the main love interest, and he's very much like Chris Pine's character in the sense that, he's just all perfect, and he's so sweet and handsome and nice and everything. And mainly what she does throughout the movie is that she sees people committing crime, and she doesn't care who you are. Like, if you're a policeman, if you're a politician, and you're doing something bad, she's gonna go after you. So she's kind of like a superhero. In fact, the another movie that this kind of reminds me of, a movie that I've never seen, is Blade. This movie kind of reminds me of Blade, just, by the cover and by the style of that movie. This is like a female Blade in a way. And it's really, really cool. It's really, really awesome. I'm just so shocked that, nobody really knows about this movie. This movie is like a hidden gem. It's like a diamond in the rough. And again, there's barely anything that I don't really like about the movie. I enjoyed the entire way, the entire experience. I mean, I also thought it was really funny because if you guys remember the X-Men Apocalypse movie, if you remember the part where Apocalypse comes to Earth and then he's watching the TV and he's got his hand on the TV and he's like, I'm learning. Like, you remember how cringeworthy that was? Well, they do that exact same scene, except they actually pull it off really well. They have Veronica watching television, and she's just, like, sitting there, like, just watching it, just very normally, but she's watching it for, like, hours and hours and hours, and she's trying to, she's trying to figure out, like, what goes on in this world, and, it's really funny, too, because the main villain of this movie is the mayor of New York. I guess the mayor of the entirety of New York. And there is a little bit of kind of confusion with that because the main guy, the love interest, he tells her that he voted for him. And that's never really confronted, like, okay, he's an openly, like, corrupt and horrible mayor, horrible on all levels, and it's never really confronted as, like, how did, like, people actually vote for this guy? Like, how did the doctor, who's supposed to be this, like, perfect guy, a match made in heaven or hell, how did he want to vote for that guy? And how did that guy win over the city? Because he's not very charming at all. He's very sleazy looking. He looks like a porno director or producer. He doesn't look very good, like a good politician. He looks very, very sleazy and greasy. And, but it's also really funny too, because I like the fact that, a lot of movies like this, a lot of, like, thrillers or something, where it's, like, anti-government, anti-authority, anti-establishment, a lot of the times the characters will set their sights on the president, like in The Dead Zone. I think that was the president, Martin Sheen's character. Like, they'll make the president character out to be, like, the villain of the movie. But in this movie, she doesn't do that. She's so much better. She's so much cooler because she's like, no, I'm going to focus on the grassroots. I'm going to focus on the bottom levels, because what people say is that you usually can't make a difference with the presidential election, but you can make a difference from, who you vote for mayor, for governor, and all that kind of thing. And so she focuses on the mayor. So she's really, really smart. Like, there's no mention of the president in this universe at all. And it was the 90s. Let's see, who was president in 94? Which pedophile was president then? Oh, God, Bill Clinton. Jeffrey Epstein's friend, Bill Clinton. So, right there, like, there was not even a mention of Bill Clinton. Because she's like, no, I need to focus on the grassroots. I need to focus on the bottom levels of corruption and parasites, and that all starts with the mayor. Whenever there's a mayor in a movie, he's always a bad guy. Like, there's never, like, a good mayor. It's always like, it's the mayor. Or in The Walking Dead, it was the governor. The governor of Woodsbury. And so she's just so, like, she just doesn't give a fuck. And apparently, like, this is another kind of weird thing, is that in hell, there's this woman from heaven, and she is, like, inside of a bubble, kind of like Wizard of Oz style, and she just shows up to, like, give you messages, and she says that Veronica has been chosen to purge Earth of evil or something like that, and so, Veronica is just like, there is not, I gotta be honest, guys, like, there is not like a single thing that she did in this movie that I didn't like. I guess that there is a part where, and this is all spoilers, by the way, but I don't care. Like, look, the movie's awesome. Like, you need to watch the movie. I don't care if I'm spoiling it. It doesn't really, there's not really much to spoil. I mean, yeah. So, what was it? Okay. There's a part where there's an old friend from medical school who talks to the main guy, and she flirts with him and everything, and he makes it clear that, like, they're not together, but Veronica gets really jealous, and she follows her into the women's restroom and threatens her and shit. I thought that was kind of shitty, but at the same time, like, look, bitches can be bitches. You know, like, Veronica knows that. Like, she lives in hell. She has seen the worst of the worst. She has seen the mean girls. She has seen, like, the worst of the worst, you know, like, all the worst types of women, all the worst types of men. And so, she also apologizes. So, even the worst thing she does in the movie, she apologizes for it. Like, this woman, this character, whoever wrote this movie, and actually this movie was also directed by a female director, so again, another parallel to Wonder Woman, but the person who wrote this movie, he really created, like, the perfect love interest. Like, you could literally not make a love interest better than this if you tried. I guess you could, like, customize her physically to your, you know, personal, like, preferences, you know, like, you could make it into, like, a tranny, or you could make it into, like, a woman with, like, double D boobs, or you could make it like an alien woman, or you could make it like, you know, you could make her black. You could do anything you wanted with her because she's yours. But, like, this is the perfect love interest. This is the absolute perfect love interest character. And so, you know, that's another reason that you want to watch this movie. I mean, she is the perfect love interest. And, yeah, I really love this movie, though. It was just so good. The only thing that I would say is that the ending was kind of weak. You know, like, the same thing with Wonder Woman, though. But, like, the ending was kind of weak in the sense that, like, you didn't really get any cool action or anything at the end. It was a very small-scale ending. But I gotta say, too, I don't know what the budget was for this movie, but they did a really, really good job with the budget that they had. Like, you know, like, a lot of people talk about Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, and they try to make excuses for why it was bad. Like, oh, well, they didn't have the money to shoot in New York. Wah, wah, wah. Well, look what this movie did. Look at how good this movie did at telling a story in New York while not really telling a story in New York. Like, this is great. I want to see more movies like this. I don't want to see, like, the same story. Like, I don't want to continuously see, like, fish out of water movies. But I want to see more movies like this. And now I also asked Safi if she'd like to comment on the movie. Earlier, I was like, hey, Safi. And she was like, what? And I was like, what did you think of the Dark Angel movie? The Dark Angel, the Ascent movie, you know? The Full Moon movie. And she was like, I don't know. And she walked away. So, yeah. That's what Safi has to say about this masterpiece of a movie. And, yes, I'm calling this movie a masterpiece. I don't give a fuck. This movie is as close to a masterpiece as you can get. It's just all the things that I want in a movie. It's easily one of the better movies that I've seen the entire year. And it just shows, too, like, I'm not like a snob. Like, when I give all these negative reviews for these modern movies, these bad modern movies like Keeper and all that type of shit, I'm not like some snobby guy who has like really high standards. Like, if you just give me like a really fun horror movie like this, then I'm gonna really like it, and I'm gonna think it's really good, So this just shows how bad modern movies really are, though, because watch this movie and then compare that with the movies that come out nowadays. Like, this movie was full of color. This movie had so much color in it. It was shot on film. It looks like a real movie. It's like, this is what I want movies to look like nowadays. Like, this is great. It's great. There is kind of another plot hole, though. It's just kind of, I don't know. The main character, she takes a lot of damage throughout the movie. She gets run over by a car. She gets stabbed in the stomach. She gets shot. And for some reason, she's able to heal really easily from getting run over and then getting stabbed. But then when she gets shot, for some reason, she has to be taken back to hell and she's near death. Which I don't know how that could be possible either, because she's already in hell. So I don't know how she could even die to begin with. So I thought that all that was kind of weak. I thought that could have been explained better. They could have written that a little bit better, because that didn't really make much sense to me. But other than that, there's literally like no problem that I have with this movie. Like, it was just so good. I love this movie so much that, I've been trying to find, like, because all the movie review channels, for the most part, all of them have, like, a movie that they champion. Like a lesser-known movie that they, in particular, champion. Like, I remember, Cool Duder, before that channel turned out to be what it has become now. Chauncey, he championed these movies like Bad Ronald, Crawl Space, Wood Chipper Massacre, these very, very low-budget hidden gems movies. Dead Pit, Dead Pit Radio, which I still watch their channel. They're really, really good. They never turned out like trash. Back in the kind of olden days of their channel, they would champion this movie. I think it was called Madman or Madhouse or something. It has this big fat guy on the front cover. I've never seen the movie, but they really championed it and they promoted it, and it was kind of like their channel's movie. I mean, their channel's movie. I was like, what? That doesn't make sense. And then let's see, what else? Well, Welcome to the Basement, that's not a channel. But they championed this one movie. I can't remember the title, but there's a part in the movie where the main character, he gives a thumb kiss, which has never been in any other movie before, as far as I know. And so they championed that movie, even though it didn't really look very good. So this channel, I don't think we've really championed a movie on this channel before. I think that, there's movies like Bully. Bully is definitely a movie that I tried to promote on this channel, but we've never really done it where, like, we've had, like, our movie. Like Safi and Marco dish out on movies. We promote this movie. Well, guess what, guys? I think that this movie is it. This movie deserves to be a cult classic. It's not a perfectly written movie. It's not a perfect movie. But guess what? It's perfect for me. It's good enough for me. And that's all you need. So I'm going to give this movie the most cliche review that I always give movies that I really, really like. And to be honest, I probably give out this review too much. For all the people that say oh, Marco, you're too negative, you're too mean. I give out this review all the fucking time. I give this review out if a movie is just really, really good and I liked it that one time. I am going to give this movie a bowl of classic spaghetti, which is my favorite food. And yeah, that's what I would give this movie. Again, highly recommend it. And also, a funny coincidence. This was really interesting. The main actress, her name is Angela Featherstone. Very, very interesting name for an interesting woman. And she was actually on The Mentalist. I am finishing up season 3 of The Mentalist, and she was on the episode that I watched right before I decided to watch this movie. That was so weird, guys. That was such a strange coincidence. And she has since dyed her hair blonde. And I feel sad about that because it's like, look, blondes are sometimes not smart. And so, like, I think she should have rocked the red hair. Maybe that wasn't her natural color, but like, it really works for her. I mean, I gotta say, and another thing that's good about this movie, guys, is that I think it's got like basically like full nudity in it. So like, you know, that's another reason to watch this movie. Like, and it's very tasteful and it's very artistic, but like it's great. It's like, this is what I'd like to see nowadays. You know, this is what I'd like to see in a modern movie, you know, but they won't let that happen, and we all know why. So anyways, this movie fucking rules. So please like this video and comment and tell me what you think of Dark Angel, The Ascent. And also, you know what was really funny? This movie's about a demon from hell coming to Earth and getting into a relationship and shit and killing people and shit, torturing them to death. She's basically like a female Hellraiser, a female Pinhead. And another thing that I mentioned is that I forgot to mention is that she has a really cool dog, and he's like a hellhound, and he was awesome too. Like, again, this woman is wifey material. But the thing is, there was a guy who commented on this movie, because this movie is free on YouTube. There's a guy who commented on it, and he said, "Oh my God, I can't believe I found this. This was a childhood favorite." That was so funny. Like, this is a childhood favorite movie. You know, like, just like, because I know kids, you know, I have cousins that are like 8 and 10, or I think one of them might be 7. I can't remember, but one of them is like 8 and the other one's like 10 to 11. I just visited them a couple weeks ago and saw them, and I just couldn't imagine them watching this movie. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't imagine, you know, kids from back then, they were built different. You know, they had balls. You know, they were raised to have balls and to watch movies like Dark Angel, The Ascent. So, yeah. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest reviews. And I can't wait, because whenever I give a movie a really good review, the video never gets any support. But whenever I give a movie like a really bad review, it gets tons of support. I get new subscribers. And so I can't wait to see that happen again. And then also, if you enjoyed this review, we would be very grateful if you checked out our Patreon. The link is in the description. I just made a short movie recently, and that is the only place where you will be able to watch it. And also, there are a ton of other bonus videos bonus movie commentaries, rankings, and over an hour and 40 minutes of behind-the-scenes footage from me making the short film. So if you love behind the scenes, if you love indie movie making stuff, you will get your fair share on our Patreon for a very, very low price. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and goodbye everybody. See you soon.